Hello, I will show how you can use our API to create a specialized conversation thread using a very simple API calls. I use even cur to show how simple it is. So let's get started. First, I will create a new account here. So I just put test chat and then I will going to get my code. Paste my code and boom. So I'm here, I will create my project. I will create a code expert and I'll give some system instructions here. So that's going to be my instruction. So you're an expert coder, and if the questions are about topics out of computer science, and code reply saying that you are a developer and you don't talk about other topics. So that's basically my instructions. I'm going to get an API key from Grok that I'm going to use in this example. And now I'm going to save my project. So I just create a new project here in our API dashboard. I'm going to create a key so I can access our API. So that is a key. I'm going to copy this key now. And I already have my settings here. As you remember, I'm just creating the system instructions for AI coder expert. Then if I go to my thread, I can already see an example of how to create my first thread. So keep in mind, this is just the first use case that we are handling. We are going to add a bunch of use cases and even source and database sync and other features really soon. So stay tuned. So now I'm going to copy this curve to start a new thread message. And as you can see, we have already the API key included automatically here. And I'm just going to say I'm Felipe Nevola, and this creator is just any string to identify who created this message. Then I'm going to send. But before I send, I'm going to just put this JQ here so we can visualize it better. So it's going to be like this. So you can visualize the answer in a very nice way. But of course, that's not required. That's just to format the output. So let's hit enter. So you can already see here on the left, the new thread was created. And you can expand to see the message here. So that was the message that I sent, and that was the answer that was returned from Grok using Llama 3.1. And you can see that it's like, what is your question? And do you have code related issue? That's why you put the system instruction. So just wrap up here, you have the system instruction. So that's why it's talking already about code. But let's see the full response here, because you have the text, that is the same part that we are sending here. But you also have the thread ID, so you can continue the conversation if you want. And I also have some tips here. So use the thread ID. So our idea with this meta info is to help you to learn how to use our API. For example, here as well, the model was not provided. So we are just going to use the default Llama 3.1 running on Grok, but you can also provide a model. So that's basically a way for us to try to teach developers how to use our API better. But now let's get this copied from here, because then I already have the thread ID. So I'm going to copy this part here to send a new message on this thread. So it's the same, but you have this thread ID here for us. And I'm going to ask something that is not about coding. So let's see if it's going to follow the system instructions. So I want to talk about politics. And let's send this message inside this thread because of the thread ID here. And I'm also going to put in the end this JQ. So you have this nice format for the JSON. And send. So I want to talk about politics, and then you can see the answer. Sorry, I am a developer. And you can see that we are using the same thread. We are using the history of this thread because it knows my name, you know? So that's pretty cool. And again, we don't have the model provided here, so we have this tip. And just to finish this video, I can also show to you that if I send like a message asking for like, how do you know my name? Like that we are really keeping the conversation in the same thread. How do you know my name? Now I'm not using the GQ stuff, so I don't have a good format here, but you can see here. I made the assumption because you start your sentence with I am Felipe Nevola. in the very beginning. So it's keeping all the context. And if I want to start a new thread, I can just not provide the thread ID. So I can just go back here and then I can start another conversation. And you can also see these messages going here. And you can also see the response here. So that's a very, very easy way that with just one field, you can customize your system instructions and you can have a thread with history or memory if you prefer, that is going to control the flow of the conversation. So that's really powerful, and that is just the first use case that you're creating. And again, as a developer, you just need to make some API calls, and very simple, straightforward. See you in the next one.